Okay, I just scored big time. I'm really looking forward to showing you what I've picked up.
Hello and welcome back to the echoey conservatory. It's also raining, which of course you can hear on the roof, so if it gets too loud I will just have to stop and do this some other time. In the comments a couple of videos ago maybe, or one video ago, I was asked if I would show how I use the little bits of treasure that I find on the beach and when I'm out walking, and also from my thrift hauls. So I thought, well, that's a good idea, isn't it? So here I am, sat down with a big pile of kind of goodies in front of me so that I can show you what I've actually done with those things that we found together. If you're new here, my name is Becca and I put out 2 videos a week, a fibre arts video on a Wednesday and then more of a chatty vlog type video on Sundays. And recently I've actually been doing Fridays as well because I've just been filming so much and otherwise the videos just get so long that I've actually decided to split them up and have 2 videos. So thank you very much for popping by and let's get on with the video. So when I started on my sort of journey in the summer to kind of start sewing again after a very long period of not sewing, then the first thing I made were these cute little napkins. And this was from Thrifted fabric. It was actually a table runner and it's got quite a nice texture to it, and I literally just put a hem round, and that is the first time I'd sort of sat down at the sewing machine in probably 10 years, I would say. And I had my sewing machine serviced locally before I sat down and actually did any sewing, and so this was the first thing that I made. And these just, it was, as I say, table runner. I think it was maybe £2, and I got 6 of these little napkins out, and I think they're rather nice and they were easy to make. Yeah, and it sort of got me sewing again, really. So that's the first thing. Then I'm just trying to think what you will have seen. Okay, then recently I picked up this box of Not Cigars. Come on, let's get the lid open. Ooh! And in the box of Not Cigars was all this. So stranded cotton, floss, I think you'd call it in America, embroidery silk, we sort of call it in the UK, and that was £4 for that whole box. And what I have been doing is I've been doing some slow stitch projects. Now this is my foraging bag, and this bag I made about 15 years ago when Andrew, my partner, and I used to teach foraging. It was part of our business that we ran before Andrew had a brain injury, he had to retire, blah de blah, you've heard it all before. Anyway, so I made this out of, so the lining was mushroom fabric, or still is mushroom fabric, and the outside is camouflage fabric. And it's very old and I love it, and I've used it and used it and used it, but it was starting to fall apart. And I've been looking at some of these slow stitch videos and I like the idea of it, but I don't know, I didn't really think I wanted to make scrolls or journals or anything like that. But I really like the look of, particularly, is it Kawundi? Anyway, where you kind of have layers of fabric and you've got running stitch. So whatever that's called, I like the look of it. And so I started repairing this foraging bag in that style. And I mean, it's very kind of, yeah, it's very, I want to say scruffy, but I am quite a scruffy person, so it sort of suits me. So that's what I've been using the stranded cotton for. I also have a pair of jeans that are more patch than jean these days, and that's what I've been doing. I've been just doing this slow stitch, running stitch, using 2 strands of the stranded cotton. So that's how I've been using that. Okay, what's next? Right. So I got asked, what do I do with the little bits of treasure and things that I find on the beach? Well, behind me, there is a collection of bits and pieces. So there are various bowls around the house with the little treasures displayed. But the other thing I do is I use them for reference for my sketchbook. So that's a beach one. And then I've got a kind of woodland one. And those are apples. Not that they fell off the tree. That doesn't really count, does it? Anyway, so that's what I do with some of those. And also, when we go out on the walks, I have a sketchbook. And I've probably shown this before. I'm sure I've shown this before. And so I just sort of sketch the various houses and telephone boxes and all sorts of things that I see. So that's one thing that I do. Also, you'll see I pick up pine cones. And I've done, on the channel, I've shown you how I turn these into firelighters. We also use them in the smoker for the beekeeping. We use them just as a bit of decoration. So in the winter at Christmas, they have a nice bowl on the table, kind of look quite nice. And they also make a natural dye, so that's what I do with those. And occasionally I find great big ones like that, and again they're just decor. The other thing I've been collecting recently is bark, and this is bark from a eucalyptus, and I don't strip it off the trees. Eucalyptus bark just sheds off the trees naturally. And there's a couple of gardens here that have eucalyptus, and they're really close to the road. And when it's really windy and stormy, like it is at the moment, it blows off and it blows into the road where I'm literally just walking past on my dog walk. And so I pick it up, and that will be for natural dyeing. So that's another one. What have we got in this tin? Okay, so this tin is a not a foraged tin, no, I wasn't that lucky. No, this is a thrifted tin that I got years ago, but inside the thrifted tin is thrifted sewing cotton. And as I am starting with reconnecting with stitching and sewing, so they've come in really handy. And that brings me on to this project, which is no further forward than the last time you saw it, and this is me starting to learn to quilt. This is the second, well, sort of patchwork. I haven't actually done any quilting yet. This is patchwork. This is the second bit of patchwork I've done, and it's a bit wonky, but I'm learning. My thought was I should use thrifted fabric. That's the fourth time I've had to record that because I couldn't say thrifted fabric. There might be a blooper roll in this video. Anyway, so yeah, so this is a mixture of thrifted fabric plus some fabric samples of when I was kind of toying with the idea of designing my own fabric, which I have parked permanently, I think. But yeah, so been using that. Then this is a 100% cotton sheet, and this was actually not thrifted. This came from Vinted. I don't know if is Vinted everywhere in the world, secondhand sales app, so you can put your stuff up for sale and on Vinted online. So this is going to be, I'm going to mordant it, and I've been meaning to do that for about 3 weeks, but this will be mordanted and then cut into pieces, and I will use it in my dye pots when I'm doing natural dyeing. So that's what's happening with that. Right, what else? Okay, so this, you will have seen me thrift, and this is big piece of damask. And I sort of thought that I would use it as a quilt back. However, yesterday, or was it the day before, I can't quite remember, I was asking Andrew to, oh, sorry, I just mocked you. I was asking Andrew to photograph some wool for me, and he needed a backdrop, so this became the backdrop. And I think I might actually leave that because it was a really good backdrop, and I do need him to photograph things for me for when I'm writing blog posts, because his photography is far superior to mine. So if you ever see a really good photograph either on my blog or on my Instagram, Andrew took it, I didn't take it. So there you go. And this, which I'm going to spin up in Wednesday's video, is in a basket that was 50p, and that came from a garage sale. And yeah, so you probably did see that as well. Well, oh, we're getting there. What else? Right. So, thrifted plate, Port Marion Botanical Garden, designed by Susan Williams Ellis even. And if I see Port Marion Botanical Garden in a charity shop and they're not asking a stupid amount of money for it, then I pick it up, because it goes with my posh china that I use for, I was going to say dinner parties. I don't really have dinner parties, I more have lunch parties. When we've got guests over, and we do have friends come to visit us, we got, you know, if the neighbour comes round, well, it depends which neighbour actually. If we're being posh, if we're kind of sat round having like tea and cake, then I break these out and then I put the cake on that plate. So that's that. What else have I got? Okay, so here we go. This I found papers, cards, and 3 books. And they were not very much money. I can't remember how much they were, but like £1 each, I think, maybe. And they are for junk journaling and card making and scrapbooking, and I have been using them to put together what will be an altered book, which also I thrifted. So I've just started to put this together, and this is going to be my spinning journal for the project, my ongoing project, which is spinning all the rare breeds in the UK, the rare breed of sheep. There's 27 breeds, and that's what I've been doing on the channel for, well, since November I think I started. And I now have 5 breeds, and I want to actually collect all the samples and have all my notes in somewhere central. And so I've got this altered book, which I've taken quite a lot of pages out. I started to sort of put them together, put a bit of gesso on, and just use some of the pretty papers to make a really attractive book. So that's what that's being used for. Right. Okay, so, can't remember how many videos ago. Was it a long time ago? I can't remember which video. I found some 4 balls of crochet cotton, and ta-da! They are now kitchen cloths woven on my rigid heddle loom. So they were, I think they were 50p a ball, and I now have 3 kind of tea towels stroke kitchen cloths. I didn't weave them quite big enough to be tea towels, but they're lovely and absorbent, and I love using them. So I'm using them in the kitchen. The weaving's a bit wonky because I'm very new to weaving, so that was but that was good fun. And you know, I got a usable domestic textile or household textile from something that was just in the charity shop. Probably next stop would be landfill, and I got to use it. Right, okay, so I've also, on my last thrifting video, I picked up these 2 balls of 100% wool Rowan, and these are even organic actually, Rowan organic yarn. And these are going to be warp threads for a scarf that I'm going to weave for my sister-in-law, who is extremely generous and gifts me many nice textile things that she gets on her travels, because she works in the travel industry and she does destination management literally all over the globe. She's in Costa Rica at the moment, but she quite often brings back nice textiles and things for me. So yeah, so it's going to be a thank you gift for her, and these are her sort of colours. So that was a really good find. What else have I got? Ah, yes. Last little thing. Okay, so you may have seen the start of my colour blending altered book. So I think I probably picked that. I can't remember whether I actually videoed. No, I probably didn't video picking up that, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. So yes, those are the things that I've made with what I've thrifted, plus the plans I've got for the things I've thrifted. So a couple of days ago, I did my weekly shopping, which means that I drive past a big charity shop on my way to the supermarket, and so I did a bit of thrifting. So let's see what I found.
So I'm at my usual charity shop, thrift store, op shop, depending on what part of the world you live in. And I've got a few things in mind that I'd like to find. You never know what you're going to find, but you know, I've been kind of thinking about them, and yeah, so I'm hopeful. You never know what you're going to find, do you? Anyway, let's go and have a look and see what there is. They always have such a great window display here, and they put all the lovely little vintage bits in, and gosh, it makes me want to open my wallet. Oh, they're so lovely. And my goodness, look at this beautiful sewing machine. So a quick check around the furniture barn. I really don't need any more furniture in my life, but I do want a specific piece of furniture, and when I find it, I will share it with you. But looks like they didn't have it today. Anyway, I drive past here every week, so I can check again. Off to my favourite section now. I always have a quick look around here and then right to the back of the shop for fabric and crafting supplies. Ooh, look at this lovely stuff. They'd obviously just really restocked this and nobody had been through it. There's some great bits here. I think that's so pretty. Gosh, what could I use that for? That's always what I have to think. What could I use that for? Because I just have to be a little bit strict with myself. I really do. But that was quite nice. Bit of chintz going on. Can't beat a bit of chintz. And oh my goodness, I so remember when this Rowan book first came out, and it was really expensive and I really wanted it. And now I'm just walking past it. Isn't it funny how fashion changes? They would be fun for junk journaling. I see a lot of people use those in junk journals. I sort of don't like to cut them up though. It's a great way of sort of documenting fashion, isn't it? Okay, I just scored big time. I'm really looking forward to showing you what I've picked up. Right, okay, I've got to get on with my other daily tasks and then it'll be back to the house. Okay, so here it is. Shall we see what's in it? I'm going to turn the camera around, show you what I found. I'm pretty pleased with it. I have 21 balls of 50 gram 100% cotton. I mean, it's designed for knitting, but I am going to use it on my loom to knit more kitchen towels. I've got some really nice patterns that came with the, I have a subscription to Spin-Off magazine, and they had a, like a weaving, I'm trying to say, it was like a freebie. So if you did the subscription, you got a freebie for a pattern for weaving kitchen towels. So that is my plan. I'm pretty pleased with this. So there you go. 21 balls for £20. Bit of a bargain. I mean, these are new.
I think there must have been somebody kind of clearing out a shop or something like that, because there was loads of other stuff there. But I have to be mindful that I live in quite a small space. I do not have loads of storage. So what I buy, I have to use. And if I'm not going to use it, I do not want to store it. And although there are some amazing bargains there, and there always are amazing bargains in that shop. I mean, some of the fabric, it was like, oh, I want some of that fabric. But where am I going to put it? When am I going to use it? So I have to be a little bit strict with myself. But that, definitely, I could not resist that. So I think some upcoming videos will be me warping up the loom and weaving with that. Definitely not going to be an how to do video, but just how I'm doing it. And what's really nice is that I have quite a lot of experienced weavers watch this channel, and they tell me when I've done it wrong and how to improve it, which is good, which is great, which is I really, really like that. Okay, so that was what I've thrifted over the last few months of the channel, what I've been doing with them. I hope you found that interesting, and I will see you on Wednesday for spinning up some sock yarn. Bye till then.